On the hour, rugbyleague.com news. Brought to you by Thomson Reuters, the global leader for news.
Coming up, Stephen Crichton and Payne Haas both cleared to play for the Blues in State of Origin 1. New Zealand Rugby League mourns the passing of a former Kiwi who was once promoting the game in Tonga, and a reality check for Super League officials after poor crowds in England. But first up, the respective 19-man squads for State of Origin are now locked and loaded ahead of the series opener between Queensland and New South Wales at Brisbane Suncorp Stadium. They can still make changes up until the final teams are announced 1 hour before kick-off, but the Blues are spinning the story that centre Stephen Crichton is now okay to take the field, despite hobbling off the training paddock at Ballymore thanks to a quad issue. Likewise, Broncos big man Payne Haas for the Blues, who was forced to sit out training whilst the team was in camp up in the Blue Mountains west of Sydney, again due to a quad injury. Meanwhile, on the lead up to Game 1 at the Cauldron, one Blues legend reckons that New South Wales this year is unbeatable. Benny Elias has told the ABC he can't see Laurie Daly's team losing to Queensland. We shall see. And don't forget, for listeners outside Australia, New Zealand and the Pacific Islands, you can listen to Origin 1 via the continuous call team, live and free right here on rugbyleague.com. In country New South Wales, Junie's Eli Crozier is seeking a downgrade after being charged by the match reviewers for a so-called cannonball tackle in his team's shock victory against defending Premier's Young Cherry Pickers last Sunday in Group 9's Great Northern Premiership. They say bench player Crozier forcefully spears at the legs of a player in possession, exposing them to unnecessary risk of injury. And we'll have more on this in Bushbeat this coming Thursday, straight after the 5 p.m. news Sydney time. North of the Tweed, the Queensland Rugby League have dished out their annual Community Rugby League Volunteer Awards. Recipients include Coach of the Year, Matthew Simpson, Volunteer of the Year, Roger White from Townsville, and for his contribution to officiating, Alan Bain from Cairns. On the world stage, after advertising for a new national coach after we'd reported that it was already a done deal, South African officials have now officially confirmed that Kiwi Daryl Fisher will be the new coach of the Rhinos, as per the story we broke right here in the news on rugbyleague.com several weeks ago. The South Africans must beat the Cook Islands at the end of the season to qualify for next year's World Cup. In New Zealand, they're mourning the passing of former Kiwi Graham Mattson, a dynamic forward who could also play at standoff. Mattson played 2 tests for New Zealand and toured the UK and France with the 1965 Kiwis. After hanging up the boots, Mattson took up coaching in the 70s with Point Chev before coaching Mangere East, spending most of his time there in the lower grades. In 1981, Mattson was head coach of the new Papatoetoe Panthers, after being also part of their inaugural committee. In 1990, he was appointed the Auckland rep coach and later cracked the international stage, coaching Tonga at the 1994 Pacific Cup during his time as the country's development officer. And as a policeman, Mattson was also known for his work with the youth of South Auckland. Vale Graham Mattson. And finally to the UK, and Super League officials will be scratching their heads after a weekend of poor crowds across the north of England. Not a single game attracted a 5-figure crowd. Very disappointing. I'm Jason Costigan, and that's the latest in news on rugbyleague.com.